Oh, we did get to record this one. Great.
Oh, we do.
I turned it on. We get to meet your dog.
Awesome. Macy, say hi. He says hi. Wants to lick my face. Go lay down. Go lay down. You need to go house? Why don't you go lay down? Go. Come on. Come on. Lay down or go house, okay? I knew she'd get excited as soon as we started recording. So it's about 11:01. Do we want to wait a couple of minutes or do we want to go ahead and get started?
My recommendation, given the level of technical difficulties that people have reported to me, is let them have another 2 minutes. Yeah, I'll stop the recording and we don't have to.
That's fine.
Or pause it.
I don't have to. If you just want to lay out, or clear off some space, you don't have to have all the accoutrement to do the yoga. I am using a pillow to sit on. We're going to do some seated poses, and it's always a good idea to have a pillow to sit on or a blanket folded up, or a towel. Towels are really good because they're kind of stiffer. So while we're waiting on people to kind of come in, feel free to go grab a pillow or a blanket or a towel. When you are sitting on your towel, I'm going to demonstrate sort of how to use that most effectively. So I'm going to turn here. And what I do is I just sit on the edge of the pillow. What that does is it elevates the hips just a little bit and pulls your sits bones back just a little. So that gives you that curve in the low back. And it helps you to sit up a little bit taller and takes care of your hips. So when you find your pillow or your towel or your blanket, just sit on the very edge and it just elevates the hips a little bit. But if you don't need that, that's totally fine too. Just remember, this isn't, you're not going to win at this. So really just throughout the entire practice, find what feels good in your body, do what serves your body. Nobody's watching, it's not a race and it's not a competition. We're really here to just, serve our bodies today. So that's my little preliminary talk. All right. Well,
I think you should go ahead and start. I think you have about 8 people.
Awesome. All right. Hello, everyone. If more people come in, that's totally fine. My name is Jeannie. I am the wellness coordinator at Marshall University. This is Macy. She's very needy. She had a big day at the doctor yesterday. So we're trying to be friendly because she will be scratching on the door the entire time. If I don't, just let her hang out with mom. So hope you enjoy her comic relief. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about what we're doing and how we're working with Fairmont and celebrating Earth Day with you. By the way, happy Earth Day. Very exciting. This is Earth Day's 50th anniversary, which is just so cool. We have been doing this, and I think the Earth deserves much more than a day, but this is just a really cool thing to be celebrating. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about a program that we are working on with Marshall and Marshall's sustainability department. Today I'm going to walk you through some yoga practices and some nature-based meditations. And the nature-based meditations come from a program that I designed a few years ago that is mostly geared toward people in recovery, but can be really helpful for anyone. We argue that everybody's in recovery from something. So all of these tools are really great practices to just implement into your life. And the program that we founded was called Grow Huntington, and now it's just called Grow Nature-Based Fellowships. So the fellowship model that we use basically combines environmental stewardship and personal growth. We are building community and generating a lot of service and personal growth through these fellowship models. And they can be implemented really anywhere. So the first fellowship model is being implemented at Marshall University. We are sort of testing it out, getting all the kinks worked out, and then you will be able to duplicate that anywhere. Hopefully at some point we will have one at Fairmont, which would be very exciting. So the meditations that we're going to go through today are grow meditations. So just wanted to give you a little information about that. If this is something that you're interested in, if this is something that you're passionate about, if you really love environmental stewardship, obviously if you're here celebrating Earth Day with us, it is on your mind at the very least. And if you're interested in combining that with community building and personal growth, then I want to invite you to look it up. Grow Marshall. Just look it up on Google. It's very easy to find, and it's GRO Marshall. We are starting a virtual fellowship. The times will be announced soon, but we are kind of starting it online because we're noticing a need for it. I know personally, like, I really need any mechanism through which to share in community with people right now. So if you are interested in just kind of seeing what it's all about, I invite you to go there. There's a form at the bottom of the Grow Marshall page on the Marshall website, and it's just collecting, interest. So if you are interested and want to put your email in our listserv so that we can contact you and let you know when those meetings are being held, and then let us know what times work best. We're trying to serve everybody in terms of the times that work best for them. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. So today we're doing a grounding yoga practice. Obviously, grounding Earth Day makes a lot of sense, but there is a real energetic and health-related reason why it's important to ground. So when I say grounding your energy, essentially what we are looking for is a sense of peace, a sense of non-judgment about our experience in our bodies, okay? So the reason it's important to ground is because when the energy is way up here, and most of us live in our heads all the time, right? When our energy is all up here and we're in this headspace of, exhaustion or overwhelm in terms of our emotions, it's really easy to lose perspective. So we imagine that grounding is just regaining that perspective, okay? It helps us to regain a mental perspective. It can calm the body and the nervous system. Think about when you travel. It can be very ungrounding to travel. A lot of our bodily systems can either stall or shut down temporarily. It can be hard to adjust our sleeping patterns. Our body has to run sort of in these functional ways. So when we are grounding the energy, we're serving the body and bringing it back to a state of stillness and bringing it back to its natural flow. So that's what we're going to try to find today. So I'm going to invite you first to begin our yoga practice just in an easy seated position. You can bring your legs crisscross applesauce, or you can bring the feet out in front of you. Doesn't matter. This is a great time to sit up on your pillow or your blanket. And we're just going to start to breathe together. And I want to invite you for the next couple of minutes to bring your hands down to the sides and just kind of tenting the fingers, imagining that you're running your fingers through grass. Okay. So you may, if you like, you can close your eyes. You don't have to. And just imagine that you are running your fingers through grass. See if you can feel it tickling your fingers. And we're going to start to deepen our breathing. So just take a deep breath in and inhale. And let it go. And try that one more time. A deep breath in. And then sigh it out. And let's take a sigh together. Inhale deep through the nose and sigh it out. We're going to send our breath all the way down into our bellies. We're breathing like a newborn baby would breathe. How the whole belly fills with air. And as you breathe in this time, let's just bring the shoulders up toward the ears. And as we exhale, we drop them down. Inhale, lift them up toward the ears and down. And then if you would like, you can start to roll your neck. We want to keep our breath steady, and I want you to find what feels good in your neck right now. So I'm doing a little crescent shape, ear to shoulder. And if you'd like, if that's not going to help your neck today, you can just look left, right? And if you're very gentle with it, you can even make a full circle. And remember to keep your breath slow and steady. You're going to notice a little background noise. I have very noisy neighbors, so just bear with me. And then reverse that circle. If you're making a full circle, reverse it. Awesome. And then we'll just come back to center. Take another deep breath in. And out. And now we're going to bring our hands into it. As we breathe in, we're going to lift the hands, expanding up under the rib cage like you're lifting with your breath. And then let it go. Inhale, lift the arms. And exhale, let it go. Inhale, lift. And exhale, float to one side. And take a breath here. Keep your heart open. There's no need to crunch all the way down. And then bring it back to center. Inhale, lift the arms. And exhale to the other side. And take a breath. And inhale it back up. And exhale, float the hands back down. All right, I hope you're keeping up. Okay, so I am going to turn on my mat. You do not have to, but in order to demonstrate, I'm going to go ahead and turn. We're going to bring our feet out in front of us for a staff pose. Now, you can keep your pillow under your hips if you'd like, or you can just move the flesh of the sits bones back, and then I'll give you a curve in the low back. Okay, if this pose isn't comfortable for you, if it's not comfortable to have your feet out long, we won't be here long. Just go ahead and find whatever feels good for you. Okay, now let's go ahead and just shake the knees. I'm just lifting the knees up ever so slightly and getting some energy in the legs. And then I'm going to sit up tall, bringing the hands down to the sides and pressing ever so slightly next to the hips to lift the crown of the head. Breathing is so important. Now, we're going to cross one leg over the other. So I'm going to start with the left, okay? I'll cue everything from the left, but you can do whichever side you would like. It's just going to be easier for me to keep up if I tell you which leg I'm using. So I'm going to bring my left knee up and cross it over my right. If this isn't comfortable for you, you can just bring the knee up next to the knee. Okay. So we're in a little twist here. I'm going to cut my hands around the front of my knee and lift my heart. Take a deep breath in. And as I exhale, I'm going to bring my right arm around the left knee. We're going to find a little spinal twist. With a twist, you do not have to crunch into it. You don't have to force your way into it. It's really more important to serve your body, okay, and to keep your heart open. So I'm going to focus on broadening across the chest and continuing to breathe deeply. You can bring your elbow to the outside of your knee. You want to leverage that twist just a little bit more. Remembering to breathe, never force. And then as you exhale, bring it back to center. We're going to switch it up. Crossing the ankle over the knee. Take a moment to breathe, lift the heart, lift the crown of the head, sit up tall. And on your next exhale, we will bring it around for another twist. Find whatever feels good in your body. Keep broadening across the shoulders. And remember to breathe. And then you can release it back to center. Bring both legs out long. And we're going to walk the hands about 6 inches behind our hips. I'm going to invite you now to press your toes like Barbie toes. Can you see here how I'm lengthening my toes out long? That engages up the legs all the way to the thighs. And I'm just going to lift the hips off the ground for a reverse table. You can do this. So go ahead and just try one. Okay? Remember to breathe as you lift and hold for just a moment. Keep breathing. And release it down. If you would like to fold it forward ever so slightly or just release, that's okay. And I'm going to do it one more time. I'm going to invite you to do the same. So remember to press the thighs together, press the legs down into the floor, and engage your belly. Pull your navel to spine, and we lift. And we breathe. And release. All right, shake the arms off. Okay, now we're going to cross the knees and come over to a tabletop position. In our tabletop, your knees are under your hips, so they're not pushed together, and your wrists are under your shoulders. Now, when you do a tabletop position or a down dog, it's important to put pressure here on the ball joint of the hand and the finger pads, not your wrist, because your wrist will get really tired if you don't take care of it here. So cup the mat with your hands or make like a claw. Okay. Now I'm going to turn my toes under, but you do not have to. I'm just going to get a little toe stretch as I go, but you can also just lay them flat. So we're going to go into a cat-cow position. Cat-cow reminds us to follow our breathing. So as we inhale, we drop the belly and we lift the crown of the head and the hips. And as we exhale, we fold it under for an angry kitty cat. Like you're looking at your belly button. Inhale, lift it for cow pose, drop that belly. Exhale, fold it under, kitty cat. And follow your breath. See if you can keep your breath natural. In and out. Breathing in for cow and out for cat. And then we'll bring it back to our neutral spine. I'm going to release my feet. I'm going to find a wobbly table. So with a wobbly table, you want to engage your core, so pull your belly button in. And we're going to keep our torso long, so keep the spine straight. And we're going to rotate around in circles. Like a wobbly table. And then reverse that circle. Remembering to press into the finger pads and the ball joint of the hand. And then back to neutral. Okay, so now we're going to lift the right foot out behind us. Point those toes once again and engage the leg all the way up to the hip and engage your belly. And then lift the opposite arm. So I have my left foot and my right foot and my left arm lifted. Straight line out in front of the eyes and back behind us, leg out long. Now I'm going to flow 5 times here with my breath. I inhale and lift the hand and the foot, and exhale, bring my elbow to knee. Inhale it out. Exhale, elbow to knee. Can you do 5? Can you challenge yourself to do 5 of these? 4 and 5. Find your 5. Release that hand down and cross the right foot over the left ankle and look out over that left side. And then we will bring it back to center, back to our tabletop. And then let's lift the left foot and right hand, or the opposite. We're going to hold for just a moment, engaging the leg all the way up to the hip. Engage the belly. Even engage your arm. Plug that arm into the shoulder. Inhale, lift. Exhale, elbow to knee. Inhale, lift. Exhale, in. 5 on this side. Drop that hand. Lift that foot out long. Cross it over the right ankle. Look out over that right side. And back to center. Okay, now we're going to flow back here into a child's pose. I'm going to walk you through that. We're going to bring our knees a little bit wider and let your big toes touch together if that's available for you. Child's pose is a resting pose, so I just want you to find what feels good in your body, okay? Once our knees are a little bit wider, we're going to walk the hands out long in front of us. We're going to let the head rest either on our hand or on the floor. I want you to hold that child's pose for just a moment. If you need to bring a pillow under your head, that's okay. And while you hold this child's pose, I want you to check in with your body. Notice how the energy feels in your body. Do you have any emotions that are kind of stuck today? Is your heart rate up? Do you feel warmth in your body? Or do you feel coolness? Remember to take long, slow, deep breaths. And just start to notice how your body feels. while you're here, send a little love to the earth. Thanking it for being there for us, for taking care of us, for being steady. And on your next breath in, looking up between the thumbs, we're going to float forward onto the belly. Once you make it down to your belly, you can stack the hands and lift your ankles and just windshield wiper side to side. Let your head rest. And just notice how that feels. You can let the feet rest whenever you like. Now we're going to walk the hands under the shoulders and press the big toe into the floor. We're going to lift up for a cobra pose, and I want you to go as high as feels good in your body. There is no reason to overdo it here. This is still in our warm-up. As we breathe in, we're going to lift up as much as is comfortable, so you can straighten the arms if you need to. You can also just keep it bent. And we'll lower it down. We're going to do that 2 more times. As you breathe in, lift the heart. And exhale it down. One more time. Inhale, lift the heart. And exhale it down. Now we're going to turn the toes under. And we're going to come through our tabletop as we lift the hips to the sky. We're going to find our down dog. In a down dog, we want to windshield wiper the feet, and we want to remember to claw the mat with the finger pads and the ball joint of the hand. And then we're going to step the feet toward the hands, and we're going to meet in a forward fold. Bend your knees. That'll take care of your low back. If you'd like, you can wrap your hands around your elbows and let your head hang as you rock it side to side. And then reaching down to the floor, reaching down, down, down. We're going to inhale and lift up. Reach for the sky. And exhale our hands down to our heart center here. This is called an Anjali Mudra. It is a mudra or a hand sign of gratitude. Now we're going to find a little grounding and balancing flow. This is when it starts to ramp up a little bit, okay? So we're going to bring our hands to our Anjali Mudra. That reminds us to engage all the way up the arm. So make your muscles strong through the arms. Make your muscles strong in the belly. And engage your thighs. Plant your feet on all 4 corners of each foot. You can even rock side to side to see if you're nice and grounded here. Take a deep breath in. And as you exhale, imagine that you're growing roots all the way down, holding you firm to the ground. Press those hands together, engage your core. We're going to lift one of our knees. I'm going to lift my right. Lift one knee up like a flamingo. We're going to find a little balancing flow, okay? So you may lose your balance like I just did, and that's okay. No one's watching. It's okay. So pull all the muscles to the midline here. Engage, make everything strong. And we're going to bring it back to a lunge. You can go as deep as you like. Just touch those toes back behind you. And then from our lunge, we're going to come up into a tree pose. Now, I'm going to invite you to just do a kickstand at first. So let me demonstrate while you're in your lunge. The tree pose with a kickstand is just bringing the heel up to the ankle, okay? So we're going to see if we can flow through that. Keep your hands pressed together. Pull all the muscles to the midline. And we're going to lift and find that kickstand. Okay, now turn the knee, lift it up for flamingo. Bring it back for a lunge. And bring it up for tree pose. You can find that kickstand one more time. You can always find a kickstand if you need to. Bring it up for flamingo. And back. Lunge. And if you'd like, you can release the hands as long as you keep everything engaged. We're going to lift it up for a tree. You can now bring the foot to the calf here. Or if you want to go deeper, you can bring it up to the inner thigh. So let's try it one more time. I'm going to bring my hands to heart center, lift it up for flamingo, back for lunge, and then up into tree. Can you do it? Can you keep that balance? Now let's release that right foot down and just shake everything off. That can be really hard on that standing leg. All right, I'm going to go over here to demonstrate on this side. Bring your hands to heart center. Squeeze everything to the middle. Lift your other foot. Knee up in front like a flamingo. Now as you exhale, bring it back. Good. Inhale to tree. Woo. And back to flamingo. Exhale. Then float it up. If you find that you're wobbly, that's okay. This is your work. This is just something to work on. I'm very wobbly today. Lift that knee up in front. Exhale back to lunge. And lift to tree. Very good. Release that foot down and shake it off. Shake, shake, shake. Okay, now let's come long ways on our mat. We're going to go through a goddess sequence. So in our first pose, our goddess pose, we're going to bring the feet a little bit wide, just as much as is comfortable for you. And you're going to turn your toes out to 45-degree angles and then bend the knees. So this is like an easy squat. Don't go too hard. Okay, we got a lot of work to do. Now, when I'm in my goddess pose, I'm going to come out so that I can show you this. My hips are pressed back so that I still have a curve in the low back and my heart is open. Okay? So find what's comfortable for you, as I find what's comfortable for me. Bending the knees, press into all four corners of the feet still. Make sure that you're nice and rounded here. And we're going to bring our arms out like goalposts. Remembering to breathe. Press your hips back. Open your heart. Take a deep breath. Let it go. Inhale your arms up to touch overhead. Exhale, bring it out like a sunbeam. And we're going to scoop up the energy from the earth. So bring your hands down, touching the floor. And then as you inhale, lift it up. And let it rain down. Exhale, touch the ground. And inhale, lift, let it rain down. Let's do that 2 more times. Exhale, touch the ground. Inhale, open the arms up wide overhead. 1 more time, reach it down. And let it rain over you. And we'll meet back in our goalpost hands. Good. Now, bring the right hand to the heart and lengthen the left arm out like you have a bow. This is going to be archer pose. So, whichever hand is on your heart, mine is my right, we're going to bend into that knee and lengthen the opposite leg out. If you'd like, you can pop the foot up. Looking out over the extended arm, you can even pull back your bow like an archer. Remember to breathe here. And we'll inhale, arms up as we switch, flowing in our archer pose. Switching to the other side. Inhale, arms up overhead, and switch. And one more time, inhale, arms up, and switch. Good. Bring it back to center, step it together, and then we're going to come down to a seated position. So this wouldn't be a grounding yoga practice without some forward folds. Forward folds on the ground are very grounding because there's just nowhere else to go. Okay, so you can once again bring your pillow in under your hips if you like. We're going to start with a Baddha Konasana, where you bring the bottoms of the feet together. The knees are out wide, and you can bring the feet in as close as you like. But there's no need to force today. We're taking care of our bodies. If you want, you can give yourself a little foot rub. Don't have to, of course. And I'm just going to place my hands on my ankles here. I'm going to sit up tall, open the heart, lift the crown of the head. And if you're feeling that stretch in the hips, just see if you can slowly let the knees relax a little bit wider. But there's no need to force it here. Continue breathing. All right, now I'm going to lengthen one foot out long. I'm going to lengthen my left out. You can choose whichever works for you and pull that other foot in. So we've got one foot out wide. Now, I will talk you through these folds. Don't force yourself and don't judge yourself. It's very easy to get into our heads when we do our forward folds because, like I said, there's nowhere to go, right? You're just here with the work you've done, okay? But if we can honor it as the work we have to do and look forward to it, then it changes our whole perspective on it. And remember, this is a grounding practice, so we're just trying to ground the energy into our bodies, right? So let's take a deep breath, opening the heart and lifting the crown of the head. And as we exhale, we're just going to lengthen out over that foot. Now notice, I'm not turning my body to reach. I'm just lengthening out. So I'm keeping my spine long and exhaling to reach. So there's not a lot of forcing here. I'm just breathing, keeping my heart open. Now what we do in our folds is we keep the integrity in the spine so that as the body starts to relax, we can relax into the fold. I often notice that with every exhale, every breath out, my body relaxes a little bit more and I can go a little deeper. But if I'm in panic mode, if I'm trying to force it, then it won't work. Okay? So keep breathing. And if you'd like, you can bring the opposite arm overhead, keeping the heart open and just reaching down. We're going to do this for 4 breaths. It's not bad, but make sure those breaths are long and steady and calm. ever so slowly bringing it back to center. See, that wasn't hard. And then we'll switch feet. Inhale, lifting the crown of the head, opening the heart. Exhale and float out over the extended foot. If you'd like, you can bring the opposite arm overhead. We're going to hold this for 6 breaths. Long, slow, deep breath. And bringing it back up to center. So now I'll invite you to lay down on your mat. So I'm going to bend my knees and float out over the mat. And with the knees bent, you can windshield wiper side to side. And bring the hands to the belly. Feel the breath as it fills the whole belly and expands the rib cage. So you can keep windshield wipering if you like. And come to stillness whenever it feels right in your body. Continuing to breathe down into the belly, expanding in the hands as you breathe in. And then we're going to lift the right foot to the sky. Turn those ankles, make little circles. And I'm going to invite you to cross it over the opposite knee. This is optional. If the right leg is on top, then float the knees over to the left side. This is just going to give you a little bit deeper twist. And you can bring the arms out to the sides. Just continue to breathe. If that is too much for you, you can lengthen the feet out a little bit longer and then find it, or you can just bring the knees together. And engaging your belly to bring the knees back to center, release both feet down, and lift the other foot. Make little circles. Reverse that circle. Little yoga for the brain. And then cross the foot over the knee and find your twist on the other side. Engage your belly, pull that navel to spine to bring the knees back to center. And we're going to find a full body stretch. So reach the feet out long, reach the arms up overhead, and find that full body stretch. Maybe you reach the arms over to the right and the feet over to the right. Getting a yummy stretch through the side of the body. And then to the other side. And as you bring it to center, reach out your right arm and your left foot. And your left arm, right foot. And then I'm going to invite you to find a pose in which you can find rest for the next few minutes. So for me, it would be right here in a Shavasana, but you can choose to lay on your side. You can sit up tall. You can even find child's pose if that's more comfortable for you. And I want you to just let the muscles completely relax for the next few moments. And while you find your Shavasana and just let everything go, including your thoughts, just let them go. Don't get attached. I'm going to play a singing bowl for you. Let the breath be steady. With each exhale, the body gets a little heavier, the muscles a little more relaxed. Each breath out brings a little more calm. And here, your resting pose. Notice your heartbeat. I apologize for that. If that was loud, I apologize. Feel into your heart as the breath moves the heart. Up and down ever so softly. Notice the beating. Or if you feel anything in your chest, whether it be emotions or energy that you can't quite name, let your awareness soak into the heart. Expand that awareness to your stomach, your arms, your legs, and your head. Noticing your internal space, the space that your body occupies. And then I'll invite you to bring that awareness to your skin, outermost layer of your physical body, whether it's in contact with the floor beneath you, in contact with your clothing, or noticing where you feel air. And if you can, imagine a field of energy just above the skin surface, maybe an inch or two surrounding your entire body. Maybe this is how you imagine your aura or your bubble. And with your whole physical body and the energy beyond it, I'll invite you to grow roots down into the ground. Imagining that from all over the body, you're sending these imaginary roots into the earth. Reaching down, down, expanding down. From these roots, we're going to soak up energy from the earth, just like a plant would do. Imagine that the earth is inviting you to soak up some of that energy. And maybe it feels like love or strength or excitement, joy. As you do that, you also begin to receive that energy from the sun. Just like a plant would expand its leaves, begin to soak up energy from the sun. Inviting the body to feel warm, as we do that, we also bring in energy from the air around us. We do this by breathing in and absorbing all of that oxygen to invigorate our cells, our blood. Noticing the flow of our breath in and out like waves. As we rest rooted, receiving the gifts that are all around us, we honor our bodies as part of nature. When you are ready, begin to move the body, finding any little stretches that feel good for you. And as you like, you can come back to a seated position if you wish. And I want to thank you for joining me in this practice today. And thank you for the part that you play in protecting our planet. The divine light in my heart sees and celebrates the divine light in yours. Namaste. Thank you for practicing with me. I think we have a couple of minutes left for any questions you may have. If not, we'll just finish up the meeting. So I'll open it up to my moderators. Lower my screen here.
Thank you so much, Jeannie. That was really, really nice.
Oh, good. Thank you. You sound very together and like chill. So
Different, in a different place than I was an hour ago.
good.
I see that a couple more people may have joined.
Oh, good.
For you guys who are attendees, you can put questions in the chat. And if you want to talk, I can unmute you, but I don't want to do that to you unless you're ready for it. So just put in the chat if you have a question for Jeannie.
I'm going to move back to my yoga mat here.
I'm not seeing anything. I want to thank you all so much for coming. I'll stop the recording.